All right, thank you guys for hearing us. We are Technology Protection for Education, and today we're presenting our Bookcase 1.0.
So we walk out into a one-to-one school and we see a lot of breakage of iPads, devices. Since we're a bring your own device school, kids drop their iPads, it cracks, no one wants to use a cracked iPad. We've also begun to integrate iPads and technology education into lower level schools, meaning younger kids, and so they're more prone to break their iPads and things like that. So we've come up with a solution.
Yeah, we came up with the next generation of iPad case and tailored it specifically to an educational environment. Now, this isn't your normal textbook because when I open it up, forgive the bootleg appearance. There were some shipping issues with Uline, but anyway, we'll get past those. Inside this is the iPad. So this is not a textbook that's in use. This would be ideally either a dilapidated or an antiquated textbook that would otherwise be thrown out. So inside is placed the iPad, and this will protect it from dropping, which I will not do right now because, as I mentioned, this is a prototype, some issues with the shipping.
And so with this product, we're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. We got the iPad case to protect from droppage, breakage. We have the book, which solves a problem of theft that we have at a lot of schools, not particularly VHS.
Yeah, and it's certainly not like super present at VHS, but if I were to place this in a backpack, let's pretend I was a little deviant and I went in here searching for an iPad. I want to find something. I'm seeing folders and I'm seeing textbooks. I'm not seeing an iPad. If I want something of value, I'm taking the TI-84 calculator, not the iPad. So this will ideally protect the iPad from theft. And now it won't cut out theft as a whole, but it certainly will only help with it.
And the third stone is recycling and cost of the materials we need. Because what we can do is use dilapidated textbooks, as CJ said, to give a kickback to our customers that give us these textbooks that they no longer need for those purposes, and we can refurbish them and remake them into our case.
Keep your iPad in your hands, protected, while saving the environment.
And so after calculating our costs, we're seeking $60,000 for 20% equity in our company.
All right, now you can talk if you have any feedback, questions, things like that.
Should we mute our microphone or?
No, yeah, you can keep. You don't have to mute your microphone. This is your time and our guests' time investors' time to ask us questions, grill us about our fine product.
Okay, first of all, how did you even come up with this idea?
Well, it was mentioned to us. It was sort of alluded to by Mrs. Sheffer. She said there's been some issues in the younger grades where students have been dropping their iPads. And so we were like, oh, okay. I mean, cases obviously are already invented, but how can we keep an iPad in a backpack safe? Because if you're a school, even high school age students, your backpack's getting tossed around. It's 1:15. You want to sit down. You're dropping your backpack. Maybe it'll hit the corner funny. But we figured once it's inside this case, it's fully protected.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what do you do? Because I know that they've been making a lot of things to fit in smaller places.
Right.
So what do you do about the large size? Because I know a lot of people don't like bulky stuff.
Right.
So that like eliminates the process of them being able to take it wherever they want without, you know, it being so big.
Of course, yeah. I mean, this, as I mentioned, ideally this would be used in an educational environment, or if you want to keep something in a bag. But actually, this book is hardly bigger than the iPad itself. I mean, when I hollowed out when we hollowed out the inside of this book, it doesn't weigh that much more than the actual iPad. I mean, this book is has the bulk of it hollowed out and makes room for protective foam.
And it's only about 1 inch, and we figure since in a one-to-one environment, all the education is really centered in that one piece of technology that if you're carrying a backpack around, this is probably the only thing you need. So it fits perfectly into a little sack, or you can just carry it in your hand like you were carrying a textbook.
Okay, why do you need $60,000? What's the breakdown for the money?
Okay, so here we go. We described the product, but let's just go into our costs. So we make one of these cases for $425 a unit.
Right, costs exactly $425. between the foam that we would need to get, the Velcro that would be securing this together from Falls, and the also the machinery to cut it out as well.
Mm-hmm. We have so we're selling it to a retailer wholesale for $13 a unit, and then they'd be selling it suggestively for $17 a unit. So they make $4 profit. We make a lot more than that.
And then, yeah, the bulk of the $60,000 comes with the warehouse space and also the machinery. So obviously, we're trying to expedite this process and make it as seamless and efficient as possible. So that machinery will run us around $7,000 per unit. So that's obviously incorporated in there, as well as some warehouse space in Boston will be about $5,000 a month.
Okay, very happy to hear about the machinery, because I was thinking this was like a man operation, and with that question I was going to say, how long does it take to create one as a human being? But so you've got machinery in your proposal.
Right. Yeah.
Guys have any questions? Yeah, we got a question.
How easy, in all reality, is that to use? If you wanted to flip that book over and like text on it, like how would you use that in a classroom?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the part where you said if we wanted to flip it over and what?
Like, it's a book, so how would you flip the whole case over to get your hands around it, to text on it?
Oh, so this would be, right, so this would be in the classroom. Ideally, when you're in the classroom, I mean, you could open it up and use it like this, for example, but this would be a backpack-style case. So if you want to use that, it would be, the full advantages of it would be while it's protecting it while it's in the backpack.
The comment I just heard, very creative. I'm going to think that you're really just going to market school districts.
School districts, and then, yeah.
So what we did to kind of estimate our yearly profit and value our company was we took a sample bunch of 2,000 units, which we supplied to a school district.
Right, and from this, we obviously we calculated all the costs, but in addition to school districts, as we showed a little bit before this, it could be sold commercially to retailers. I mean, this is certainly useful for whether it's someone in college or whether it's someone in a bring-your-own-device school that isn't quite at this level yet. I think that it can be used in both commercially and educationally.
I also want to add, if I were traveling, and I'm a consultant and I have to travel all the time, this is just a great place as with my luggage, to keep my device safe, just for the travel aspect.
Absolutely, thank you.
So we took 2,000 as our sample because that's the estimated amount that we can produce in a month. And so we had about somewhere near $1,200 of estimated material costs for the 2,000 units. That's in addition to the warehouse space and the machinery. And so we figured for this sample bunch, the textbooks would be repurposed from a school district that no longer needed them. And so we gave them a kickback for that of $3, so they only had to pay $10 a unit. And so our profit per unit was $4.25 again. And so our total profit for that month in this sample bunch was $9,000.
Okay, so for bottom line, if we're going to up you $60,000, which I'm sure my university would be happy to pay, and we could practically, be one of your clients,
Right.
Kickback, what are we going to get at the end of the day?
So what you get is, let's just skip to our projected value. Since from that sample bunch, we were able to project a value of $200,000 for our company.
In 1 year, we did a sample of 1 year time.
Right. And so with our asking price of $60,000, you would get 20% equity in that company, meaning that when we are to grow, you get 20% of the profits since you are a 20% owner, shareholder.
Does anybody have any other questions before we reconvene and make a decision as a group?
What do you do about people, like, if this does get out and it's popular? What if someone, like, they wrote a textbook?
You want to say that to them?
So so let's say that this does get popular and well known. What would you do about people stealing textbooks, like actual thinking it's the actual thing, and then not being.
Now, I know this street law book looks enticing to criminals, but I do think that so the scenario we're portraying right now is if someone wants to steal a textbook and they're going after a textbook and they end up with an iPad. I guess there are different ways, whether it's find your iPad or there are different ways to track a device such as the iPad. And
So we're reducing risk. We're not necessarily eliminating it. You
Right.
agree that the odds of a student rummaging through a backpack to steal an iPad are much greater than the odds that they would be stealing a street law textbook. So we obviously can never eliminate the risk because, I mean, a student can steal a whole backpack for all we know. But just in terms of the value of the technology versus the text, we're minimizing that risk.
I think she means like if it becomes really popular, people are going to be stealing the book in hope they find an iPad.
Do you hear that?
can you repeat it?
So people are going to steal the book
Right.
in hopes that they find an iPad. So
Okay. Yeah.
like,
You're saying that possibly this could increase book theft.
Because
no,
it's
I'm
not
not that.
increase it,
Yeah.
increase it, but
Right.
if this becomes popular,
Yep.
every textbook will then be looked at as possibly having an iPod in it.
Right.
It might not be. You get me?
Definitely. Yeah, I understand. So with that issue, I guess if someone's looking through a backpack and there may be a few textbooks, it obviously take more time for them to open the textbook and see, hey, is there an iPad here? What's going on here? And I think that in itself would there would be more time in the actual crime itself, which would obviously give more opportunity for someone to walk in and say, hey, what are you doing there? But also, these will be coming ideally from school districts that have old or unused textbooks. So it wouldn't be the same street law textbook every single time. So maybe with some people it could be a history textbook or a science textbook. So it wouldn't always look the same.
Hidden in plain sight.
I think that idea of recycling old textbooks is genius.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a collection that you can start with that I would be happy to donate.
Awesome.
I've been collecting American history textbooks for years.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Because if not, we're going to just have a quick little debrief and then give you our answer.
Awesome. And while you debrief, we can talk about the investors that we have here. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Here you go.
Here we go. All right, I kind of have a superficial question.
Okay.
Would people be able to kind of pick what kind of books they were getting? What if you don't want to carry around a biology book? Or, like, what are people going to be able to pick what they're getting? Or is it just going to be
Yeah, that's
kind of get what you get?
as long as the whole purpose is for them to have a book that is familiar with, like, that they're familiar with, and one that the atmosphere is familiar with, so as not to, undermine the whole theft reducing process. So they can pick any book they want. It's not like we're going to discriminate against one subject versus the other. And I mean, it's personalized. So, and they can even personalize it if they want, just as long as it fits and blends in blindsight.
Right. If this is going to be used on, say, a journalism campus of the school, ideally the books would be coming from the journalism campus and wouldn't be, a random advanced trigonometry book that's thrown in there.
Another question was, what about putting a lock on it?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a realistic and feasible thing we could do. But again, the lock on the book might look conspicuous to people who want to take the iPad itself. So I think that that's why we made this the 1.0, because we are looking to improve on this, and I think a lock is definitely something we'll consider.
Okay.
So we're going to let you reconvene right now while we talk to some of our investors. Thank you for your time. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay, I'll put it on mute.
Great, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. What did you guys think, first of all, about this? Like, did anybody ever do this for you in high school? So yesterday's was an app called Tutor Me. That was the one that I watched yesterday, which I just was like, they have to come up with a concept and then the business plan. So, and then I love that the teacher wants to have like a virtual audience of judges so that it's not just the teacher doing it. And this is the part about for this ed tech course that I love because this just shows you like the possibilities are endless. And unfortunately, when you do get the syllabus from me, you have to understand, you got to be flexible with me because we'll have opportunities. Educators will ask us all the time, hey, will you send blog comments to my second graders? And I'll be like, sure we will. So we'll do a variety of things because it'll give you an opportunity to see, this obviously wasn't what it was like for me when I was in school. And you're younger than I am. You never had a Shark Tank experience.
I just thought of something. Like they said that teachers say that kids, they always see kids dropping their iPads or whatever, and cracking them or whatever like that. That means that the kids are like walking around with their
Okay,
iPads.
this district in Burlington, Massachusetts, is a one-to-one district, which means everybody in the entire district has a device. They're an iPad school. So this is from elementary school to high school. So I think what they were saying was they're in the high school, but the teacher, she goes and helps teachers throughout the whole district. And I think they heard her making a comment that, elementary kids are breaking their devices all the time. So I think that's where they got their idea from.
But I'm thinking like if it's in, like the idea is good, but from my experience, when it comes to Apple products falling and dropping, it's from someone walking with it and dropping it, and when they're mobile.
Okay, right.
So
not when they're traveling.
Not when they're because he said that you can put it onto the table and then do
I'm
it on
still
the
thinking
table.
he's going to need another stand or something.
Something because like it's a book, you can't like bend the whole thing over
Yeah.
and like, use it. You have to take it out every time, and that might be a little like frustrating to people. Like, oh, let me protect this, but wait, I can take it out now.
I see it
Take
more
back
for
in.
like if I was a consultant and I traveled, that'd be a great thing to put in my.
Yeah, that's perfect for that
Yeah.
when it's like sitting flat. But most of the cases when someone's traveling is when they bump into something and drop it, or and it cracks, and they're like, so it's perfect for that. But as far as protection from dropping, I think they have like the environment kind of messed up because it's not when people are sitting down that they drop it. It's when people are moving that they drop it. So that big textbook is like, someone's not going to be holding the big textbook moving around. Like,
Well, I think they're talking more about like these kids going to and from class and being in class. Like I don't think they're worried about like someone sitting at a desk and dropping it and it breaking. I think they're worried about these kids.
Well, maybe
going
their
to and from
prototype
class.
too should be something with a stand or a.
Maybe like a built-in, the little ones you can buy already. The ones
Yeah,
that
like
take
it pops
shop.
up. And, like,
So they can account for space, like this much extra space to put a stand. They take it.
What do you think? Do we support? Do we want to give them the $60,000?
Is this for real?
No.
I'm gonna be like,
$60,000 with a 20%. Do you think it's going to sell?
I think it's wonderful, a wonderful idea as far as theft goes. It's genius, but I don't think the whole falling and crashing, the initial point of it, is going to be completed because people aren't going to travel with the big things.
So should we give them some money?
So yeah. Or we give them half.
Okay.
Same thing. See where it goes. See if they can actually sell 1,000.
Okay.
And then if they sell 1,000, we'll double it.
Okay, you're saying that.
Well, you guys need to agree with me.
I like that. You guys okay?
I like it.
I'll say, we're ready when you are.
Because if they can't sell 1,000, we'll have an issue. Take it so seriously.
So we're going to give them, we'll give them half right now. If they can sell 1,000, we'll double that, meaning we'll give them 90, or we'll just give them 60. We'll give them the
We'll
full.
give them the other 30.
I'm just thinking about the iPad is something that's so mobile, and for it to be in a textbook, it's like is no longer mobile. It has to be on a desk.
You know, everybody has to have an iPad in order for these things to sell. Like, if you don't have an
Yeah,
iPad, like,
iPad.
you're not gonna buy one.
Yeah, but everyone in the school knows.
Yeah, but like,
I don't have
are they
one.
just selling to their
In their
school?
Oh, and there's.
Are they just selling to their school, or are they trying to go outward? Like,
I think they're going
that's
outward.
the issue.
That means someone will have to purchase an iPad. In order.
I love the idea that we're recycling these books, though.
I do too.
Because if they really truly did hollow it out to the point where it like that's a pretty good secure way to keep it safe.
I want to
Oh,
be in this
they're
classroom.
talking. I
Oh,
think. No, they're still muted, but they're talking.
They're muted.
okay.
Don't worry.
Redo.
You took it off.
We have to go to
Okay.
our math class now, so we appreciate your time. We will look forward to hearing your investment from Mrs. Sheffer. But other than that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys are the best. It's genius.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!
We appreciate your time. Sure, stop. See ya.